Hey guys, I'm Josh over at Motobox, and I'll be answering a few of the questions concerning the Aprilia RS660 and Tuono 660 exhaust modification service. So let's get started. To explain the modification service, I'll start by explaining the OEM muffler a little bit. So the OEM muffler is a one-piece unit. It's attached to the headers, and inside of it are a series of chambers and catalytic converter. And you also have a series of pipework inside that routes exhaust in and out so that it deadens the sound and meets noise level regulations and emissions. Well, that's specifically to the catalytic converter. What we do is, after experimenting with a few different methods, we found the best configuration within the muffler to provide the three different sound levels. Now, we're not just coring the muffler, we're not just giving you back an empty box with nothing inside that makes noise. No, we're specifically rerouting everything inside and applying the new configuration to provide those three different levels of sound. We do not remove the catalytic converter unless you ask for the race version. In that case, we do, and we reroute some things, some additional things inside the muffler box so that you can get a straight flow race style exhaust system. Okay, ECU, reflashing, upmaps, and dyno charts. So I'll start by saying that we are in the works of getting the bike up on a dyno, and we're going to be running it with a few different configurations. We want to see what difference there is with just the exhaust modification, no maps. We want to see what the difference is with the exhaust modification and an upmap. And then we also want to see what the difference is with the race version, which is catalytic converter removed and an upmap. And we're basically going to try as many variations as we can so that we can show you guys what it's doing, if it's affecting negatively or positively, and that way you guys can have reference information. So you're not just going into this blindly, so that you're actually purchasing a proper modification that won't harm your motorcycle. The last thing we want to do is harm your motorcycle. Now, do you need an ECU, reflash, or an upmap? So if you look at most of the aftermarket exhaust systems on the market with catalytic converters included, you'll notice they say you do not have to reflash or upmap your bike. And that is true. You do not have to. Do we recommend you not doing it? It's honestly up to you guys. You can probably get away with not doing it, but as with any exhaust modification, it's probably recommended to do it, but doesn't seem to be mandatory at the time. Now, if you do a race version with any exhaust system that's not catted and it's just basically straight pipe, or most of the new race systems are kind of like a glass pack style muffler at the end. Most of these systems do require an ECU upgrade, a reflash or upmap, and we highly recommend that to keep everything running correctly within the motor, keep fueling accurate, and not harm your engine. So yes, if you're running a race non-catted version, you do have to get an ECU reflash or upmap. If you're running with a cat, for example, our Sport and Sport Plus options, it's not mandatory, just recommended, but not mandatory. Sound levels are slightly different between the Sport, Sport Plus, and after Sport Plus, between that and the race version, that'll be a bigger difference. So Sport would be a 5 out of 10, 10 being very, very loud straight pipe exhaust, race version exhaust. Sport Plus is a 7 out of 10, and race would be a 10 out of 10. That'll be very loud. You'll probably get more gurgles, pops, bangs, stuff like that. The Sport Plus, I would say that is loud enough for most. You can hear it very well. If you watch our flyby, I was down the road about 3/4 of a mile and you could still hear the bike perfectly. Sport version is a little bit more of a refined sound. It's deep, throaty. It's a little less bassy than the Sport Plus, but the Sport Plus is a little bit more raspy. So it's kind of a trade-off there. The volume on the Sport Plus is a little bit more than the volume on the Sport, but they're both great options. I'm running Sport Plus right now. If you were just going to be on the street and you didn't want to be obnoxious, both of them are fine. The Sport would probably be the tamer version, but you wouldn't be losing too much sound between Sport and Sport Plus. How do you get it? How do you get it done? Well, as of now, we are working on building an inventory of exhaust systems so that you can basically purchase it online, and you can do a core exchange where you send us your system and we send you one back. We're also going to offer the option of buying one outright so that you don't have to send anything to us. We just send you the exhaust system modified. But for right now, while we build this up, we do require you to mail us your exhaust system, and we modify it and then mail it back to you. Now, how much time will this take? Well, we're estimating as of now between 3 and 7 days, depending on what options you select. For example, powder coating heat shields, the mesh grill on the heat shield exhaust tips, all that would take a little bit more time, especially to get it powder coated. We're going to sandblast, powder coat, bake, all that stuff. But if you're just doing the exhaust modification, that would probably be about 2 to 3 days at the most. And we will try to ship it back to you faster if we can. Alright guys, well thanks for watching this video. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out. You can DM me on Facebook, on Instagram at JohnnyMemphis, or Josh Alvarez on Facebook. You can email me at josh@motoboxusa.com, or you can email sales@radiant with a Z at the end .com, and we'll be happy to help as much as we can. Alrighty, thanks guys, take care.